So why would we do this egg challenge when we can just do this back tuck challenge?
Yeah, back tuck, easy.
There was no specifications as to where we had to do it.
Right. You can use this.
All right, I'll do it first. Got it. Your turn.
All right, we'll be good sports. We'll participate in your challenge, and we're ready to have Jessica receive all of the yolk.
No.
Yes, you're gonna get all the yolk. So when we think about Easter, what do you really think about? Do you think about the bunny? Do you think about candy? Do you think about eggs? Do you think about wonderful colors? Or how about, family get-togethers, unless we're quarantined, right? So there's a lot to think about whenever someone thinks about Easter. How about the eggs, like I said? And this challenge. Micah, bring me the first egg.
No, you bring it to me, darling. I get to smash it on him. I think this is going to be a good one. Are y'all ready? Yeah. Are y'all ready? Because I am. Are you ready?
Yep. Oh, no, the first time!
So all those things that Joey mentioned, they're good and cute. But when you think about the true meaning of Easter, those things seem so empty. And when it comes to the true meaning of Easter, empty actually is a good thing. So is it too much to ask that my egg be empty of yolk? Kenzie, bring us an egg. Get a good one, Kenzie.
Yeah. Paybacks, lady. Watch this.
Okay.
So how'd that egg feel, huh?
Not the greatest.
Normally, the concept of something being empty isn't really a good thing, right? I mean, if you think about it, who wants to have an empty bag of quarantine snacks? I really like to eat some snacks, right? I think I've been eating a lot of snacks lately anyways. Or an empty iTunes card. Wouldn't that make you angry? Empty wallet, no money, right? Who wants that to be empty?
That's
so
ours.
Empty equals no good, right? No good? Micah, bring me an empty egg, please.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like it.
You ready? Oh, it was empty.
Yeah!
So
Yes!
as Joey was saying, empty's a bad thing, right? Well, when we look at Easter in the proper light and we understand what really happened and what's really going on, what really went on, and why we celebrate Easter, empty is actually a good thing. When Jesus was murdered and nailed to the cross, they buried him in a tomb, which is basically like a cave. I've seen a lot of you going hiking and things like that. You've probably seen some caves lately. Well, they rolled this huge tomb in front of a cave. Can you imagine trying to get out of a tomb, even if you were alive? But he was dead for 3 days. And when they went back to see him, to try to see that he was in there and that he was gone and that that he was dead, well, guess what? Something unbelievable happened. The tomb was empty. Okay, Jesus, I'm just gonna ask you today, please just give me an empty egg, just like your tomb was empty after those 3 days. All right, Kenzie, bring me an egg.
Bring it to Daddy. Yes, it's a good one. Really good one.
Yay! Yay! It was empty.
So, as Jessica was saying, the tomb was empty. Jesus arose 3 days later. We're in victory. It takes us back to the scripture of Luke 24, 1 through 8. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase it a little bit. Is how the woman went to check the tomb and realized that it was empty, and then she ran to get some other people to come with her, and they realized that Jesus rose again. Then they remembered what he had said, and he had said that he would be betrayed in the hands of sinful men, and then in 3 days he would rise again. He'd be crucified and then he'd rise again. So could you imagine knowing ahead of time that you were going to be the only one that was going to be betrayed, that you were going to be betrayed by somebody? Kind of like, maybe Jay and Elijah kind of betrayed me a little bit, making me get some yoke on me. I'm a little salty right now, and paybacks are probably on the way, just saying. But, it's fun. It's good. But I'm ready for Mother Egg. And I think it's going to be great. Right, Micah? Right? All right. Give me an empty one. Empty egg.
Oh, man. I think you picked out a good egg.
No, I think I got a bit of a bad egg.
Oh, yes. I was like, whoa.
It would hurt.
Let's take it back just a little bit. Let's look a little bit closer or earlier into Jesus' ministry. The Bible tells us in Mark 8:31 that Jesus began to tell them that the Son of Man will suffer terrible things and will be rejected by the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of religious law. He would be killed, but 3 days later, he would rise from the dead. Have you ever heard people make a bunch of claims that they probably couldn't back up? Well, guess what? Jesus didn't do that. He could back it up. We just read in Mark that Jesus said he would die and rise again after 3 days, and he backed that up. So, with this challenge, I mean, I said I would do it, but do I really have to back it up?
Oh, yeah. You got to back it up.
Okay.
Bring me an egg, baby. Bring me an egg.
Bring an egg.
With yolk in it. You know, like runny yolk.
Daddy.
Give me another egg.
Was it a good one or a bad one? It was a bad one. Okay.
Back it up. Back it up. She was backing it up, right? Now, it's hard to follow someone that makes a claim as big as Jesus did and back up what Jesus did. And it's something that we can never, repay him for. And just the love that he shows for us is just great. Jesus died and rose again, and he is who he says he is. Jesus has the power of sin's greatest weapon, and that's death. Jesus is the one who says, I can give you life, and I can make it so that you will never really die. That even after life on earth is done with you, you will live with me forever. So we have a place to go. We have an eternity to spend with a loving Father that cares so much for us, that loves us in an amazing way, just as much as I love my beautiful wife. And I'm praying that she would be so kind to get an empty egg to lay on my head. Micah, get me another egg.
Oh, I'm hoping it's not empty.
You got some yolk, get ready to go in your eyeball.
Okay, you ready? Are y'all ready? Here we go.
Oh, it was empty, wasn't it?
What?
Yes!
All the empty tomb shows us that Jesus has power over death. He looked straight in the eye of death and took death's best sting and overcame it. How amazing is that? I mean, that's just amazing. You know what? That makes me so excited. I don't even mind to take an egg for that. Bring me an egg.
Yeah. Give me a yolked egg. Bunny.
No fair.
You got eyeball top. I'm pretty sure that you've been yoked the most so far.
You're right.
I think I'm just good at everything, Just got the easy going,
Not fair.
real lucky attitude, No, that's not fair. So plenty of people visit Jerusalem, right? You guys ever visited Jerusalem? I never have. I would really like to. I'd like to go to Jerusalem sometime. But they walk down some of the same roads that Jesus walked down. Could you imagine, walking down roads and being around the part of the area that Jesus was there? One of the places where people love to visit was the place where the historians believe where he was buried, and where the tomb was. And guess what? Till this day, the tomb is still empty. Micah, bring me another empty egg as well. Boy, son, I love you, man. $50 allowance for this good egg picking stuff.
Since
man.
he has been so gracious to be so wonderful about picking on me about the eggs, I think this time maybe I'll do here.
Oh,
Oh, it was totally cool. It was so much fun. Anyways, in Romans 6:9, it tells us that we are sure of this because Christ was raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has any power over him.
You're gonna die.
Jesus wasn't in the tomb 3 days after he died, and he still isn't in the tomb today, and he never will be.
You're gonna be in a
Now,
tomb.
as for the Farrington kids,
Oh yeah, those little turds.
let's just say you guys need to make sure your hearts are right before I get to see you again. Nah, I'm just kidding. Well, sort of. But anyways, give me another egg.
We'll put this one on her eyeballs. You got lucky.
Yeah!
I told you.
I did.
Let's just see who the last lucky one's gonna be, right? We're gonna get some of these empty eggs again. I'm gonna get at least the last empty egg. She's gonna get yoked again. That's what we're hoping for. So Jesus is alive forever. He lives forevermore. He lives in us, and he loves us. He wraps his arms around us, and he could just, give us a big old kiss, big old hug, and maybe Elijah and Jay will whip it. That's what I'm taking. Maybe he could whip him. But his body wasn't stolen. It wasn't in the wrong tomb. It wasn't a magic trick. It wasn't an abracadabra kind of thing. Jesus rose again. He died and he rose again. So when we look at the true meaning of Easter and everything that Jesus did for us on the cross, empty is a good thing. It's a good thing to know that our Father died and rose again. And the tomb was empty. So I believe, since empty is such a great thing, that I deserve the last empty egg. Bring me another egg, Micah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Watch it a good one.
I'm ready.
Not happening.
Oh, you!
Empty means Jesus is who he says he is. Empty means that Jesus has power over death. And empty is permanent. Jesus is permanently alive, and death will never overcome him again. When we decided to follow him instead of following our own selfish desires, we too then begin to really live. Anything in our lives that seems empty can be filled with the love of Jesus. So let's see. Bring on that last egg.
Yeah, we know what it's going to be. We already know.
Hope it's
We
a
already know.
youngster.
It's going to be empty, but we're going to make it egg sandwich. Egg sandwich. Like a boss. Like a boss.
Challenge 1 completed. So who we gonna challenge, or who's gonna come up with our next challenge?
I'm thinking maybe Jess and Tracy.
All right, Jessica and Tracy Lily, you have 48 hours to come up with the challenge. Video it and send it to me.
Peace.